I'm Dale Comstock, and just FYI, so what I want to teach you guys today is a little bit about off-road recovery and a little bit more about technical driving and vehicle dynamics. I'm a high-speed and technical driving instructor. Been doing this for quite a long time, and just the fact that with my age, I've been driving so many years, I've seen a lot of road accidents and a lot of things that have happened that were preventable because people don't understand. They don't understand certain principles, and the driving test doesn't cover all these safety issues. But it's good to be aware of them, and it's good to teach your kids so that they don't have an accident. So what I want to talk about today in this segment is off-road recovery. What is off-road recovery? I've actually seen this happen. I've actually had it happen to me, and luckily the outcome for me resulting in nothing more than my tire getting peeled off of my rim. But I've seen it happen to other people that ended, fatally. And so what I'm talking about is this. You're driving down the road, right? And all of a sudden you're not paying attention, whatever, right? And all of a sudden you run off the shoulder a little bit, okay? And the wheels are hitting the side of the road, the dirt, and you have the other set still on the asphalt. What do? We panic. Like, oh, I gotta get it back on the road. That's the worst thing you can do. The worst thing you can do is try to steer that car back on the road, because what will happen is if you're riding right on the edge and you turn those wheels to get back on the road, what will happen is more than likely two things. One, it'll start building up a mound of dirt here, enough to launch that car all the way over to the other lane, okay? Or, depending on the height of the shoulder, like in my case, it peeled the tire off of my truck, off the rim. And I didn't do anything but go down the road and make sparks. It could have ended easily if I was going faster. It could have actually tripped my car and flipped it over on me. Okay? I was lucky that day because I wasn't going that fast when it happened. But it can, and usually what it does do is you'll try to get the car back on the road, and as soon as that front tire on this side grabs, it'll launch the car into the opposing lane. There was actually 5 girls on Fort Bragg years ago. That's exactly what happened to them. They were cruising down the road, girl dropped the tire off the road, tried to compensate, directed the car into the oncoming lane, hit another car head on, killed all 5 girls, all cheerleaders. Okay, tragic way to go. Preventable. She had the knowledge, and maybe just a little bit. You can actually train at this. Just drive down the road, slow speed, and what you want to do is this. To counter it, is the car drops off the shoulder. You want to center the car. Go ahead and drift over it a little bit more. Drift on over to the right, center the car. Get off the gas. Do not touch the brakes. Do not touch the brakes. Get off the gas, center the car. Let the car coast, and then ease the car over. Gently turn the wheel so that the car drifts back over on its own. If you're under power, you have your foot on that gas and you try to do that, you're going to send that car flipping down the road or into the oncoming lane. Okay, these are little things because when you're driving fast, for whatever reason, somebody's chasing you, okay, you look in the mirror, you're looking around, and you're not paying attention. Before you know it, you drop the tires off the shoulder. You could set yourself up for a bad car accident or a rollover, okay? So if you're aware of that, hey, just relax. Let the car centered, get off the gas, get off the brakes, ease the car back into my lane, and then get back on the gas and go, all right? It's the little things in life, man, that sometimes, I guess you can't learn everything, but there's some stuff that, I just wish that, the driving schools and the tests, talk more about, but they don't. All right, the other thing I want to talk about is, and we're going to demonstrate this today, get my road back, is threshold braking. What is threshold braking? Okay, most cars are equipped with ABS systems, right? And basically, it's automatic, it prevents the car from locking the wheels up and skidding, right? The older cars, you get on the gas wheel or brake really hard, what happens, the tires lock up, the car slides. And when the tire, and by the way, here's what happens when the tires are sliding on the road. This is what people don't understand either. Okay, so there's my tire. Okay, not a good one. It's a tire, okay? What happens is when my tire, under normal conditions, my tire is making contact with the asphalt. It's adhering to the asphalt, right? But if I stand on the brakes or I'm going around the corner at 100% steering traction, Okay, now what's going to happen is that rubber is going to heat up on my tires, and it actually, what it does is it heats up and melts, and what you now get is liquid rubber under the tire between the road and the tire. And so basically, you're gliding on black ice made out of rubber. That's why the car slides. It's creating its own liquid from the heat, okay, because the inertia and the kinetic energy the rubber's liquefying and it's building up underneath the wheel, just like rain. The rain does the same thing, right? You start hydroplaning, right? Hence, the rubber is doing the same thing. It's creating liquid, you're hydroplaning, and now you're losing control of the car, right? Losing traction. That's what happens to you, okay? When you have maximum steering traction or maximum braking traction, you turn the tires, you liquefy them at the bottom, and they beat up, and that's why you see the black streak marks on the road. That's all liquid rubber, and it dried up again, and now you have a black scratch mark there, right? So that's what's happening. All right, so ABS systems are designed so that the tires don't lock up, okay, and they don't slide on their own rubber, create their own rubber patch. The idea behind ABS systems is that the tires, when you get on the brake, the tires continually turn, and it lays down a fresh patch. It lays down a fresh patch of rubber on the road by slowly turning, okay? And sometimes, actually a lot of time, almost all the time, when you get hard on the brake, you're gonna feel a thumping in the brake, and it's really fast, okay? That's the ABS system working. It's working so that the tire's slowly turning, you know, without locking the wheels up. The problem is, some people that are not used to that freak out and they get off the brake. They did something wrong, they're breaking their brake. And so they come off of it, and now they've just negated the whole reason for it, right? Now they're actually just taking them longer to brake. They're probably gonna run into something. So know that if you feel that thumping in your foot, it's okay. And it's not a bad idea to take your car out and go into a parking lot and practice straight line braking and get hard on the ABS system so you can feel what it's like. And you get an appreciation of how fast your car can stop at what distance under what, you know, different road conditions. You know, Joe and I talk a lot about training to fight. Well, basically, that's what we're doing here as well, right? We're training to drive, you know, in a defensive manner if we need to save our life, right? So understand your vehicle, your tool, before you get into it. Know how it's going to work, the dynamics behind it. Okay. Now, you're not going to find too many more cars today that don't have ABS. You know, that's pretty much all cars have them. Some of the older cars don't have ABS, and so you've got to learn how to modulate the brakes. That is, apply just enough brake pressure so you don't lock the brakes up, but the wheel is still slowly turning, right? Now that takes a little finesse and a little bit of practice. Joe was talking earlier about gas brake modulation. That's exactly right. You have to learn how to use both gas and brake. But when we talk about brake, we have to know how to get to right at that 99% braking traction, where that wheel's just turning just a little bit, laying down new patches of rubber, and allows us to stop in a minimum amount of time. Now, one thing about ABS systems, it doesn't work too good in grass. If you try to use an ABS system in grass, it's just gonna keep on going, and you're gonna run into something, right? Again, that's one of those things you might wanna practice. Drive the car and go out on a football field somewhere and practice stopping fast with an ABS system in the grass, and you'll see how that doesn't work for you. So we've covered off-road recovery. We've talked a little bit about braking dynamics and steering dynamics, what happens with your wheels and your tires. Another thing I want to talk about real quick is forward 180s and reverse 180s, right? Evasive maneuvers, how to get out of a situation. So first of all, let me kind of just paint a picture here. You're driving down the road and, somebody pulls a car out, maybe another car out here, it's a roadblock. Okay, it's not cops because we don't evade the cops, right? But they're bad guys. All right, you're coming down the road and it's like, oh, they're trying to stop me. Now you got a couple options here, right? First of all, if you're gonna run a roadblock, you always want to hit the car in the trunk, not in where the engine's mounted, right? It's the least amount of weight. So if they park it nose to nose, go to the outside. Okay. Now, really, to be honest with you, if you had to go if this was the engine compartment up here on both cars, and they were like this, and you couldn't go around, and you had to go up the center, what you're going to do is you're going to bring your car up, you're going to slow it down to like 10 miles an hour, right here, and then you're going to drive forward, and then you're going to get on the gas and push your car through those two cars. You're going to open them up and just stay on the gas. You never get off the gas until you push through. Yeah, it's going to leave some scratches on your car, but you know, at least you're still alive to talk about it. If you come down the road and you decide you don't want to do that and you want to go the other way, and I'm thinking again, you know, I like to think about the here and now, the world we live in now. Okay, I'm not thinking about the past so much, although I take my past lessons learned and I bring them forward and I look, how can I apply them to what's going on today and what I anticipate tomorrow. So today, what do we see? We see a lot of roadblocks, right? We see all kinds of crap going on in the roads. We see people, you know, protesting in the roads, blocking traffic, you know, really bringing, you know, arresting people that have nothing to do with the riots, but, you know, they want to take you out of your car, they want to take your car, they want to beat you up, or whatever, right? You find yourself driving down the road with your family one day and like, oh shit, you know, there's signs out there, they're looking pretty angry and I'm not going to make it through this mess. I got to get out of here right now. What am I going to do? All right, we're going to talk about, first of all, the threshold braking. Not so much of an issue if you have ABS, and if you don't have ABS, understand you want to modulate your braking at 99% braking traction. So I'm cruising down the road, I see something's going on, I got to stop right now and I got to get out of this. Now I have two choices. Okay, one is I can do what's called a forward 180. Basically, I'm going to spin the car around into the other lane and then head out. Okay, how do I do that? If you have an emergency brake on your car, you want to slow the car down to about a reasonable speed, 25, 30, 35 miles an hour. You could probably get up to maybe 45 miles an hour and still be safe. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to touch my foot brakes, or all four brakes. What I'm going to do is touch my handbrake or my emergency brake in the car. I'm going to engage that. As soon as I engage that, I want to turn my steering wheel a quarter turn into the oncoming lane. A quarter turn into the oncoming lane after I've engaged the rear brakes. When I feel the rear tires sliding, and you'll feel that because you'll actually feel it in your seat, it'll get real smooth. It's funny, your skeletal system is the most sensitive system in your body. In fact, race car drivers, they rely on their fingers and their skeletal system to tell them what's going on with the car. They're feeling for vibrations. So when we drive, and we'll talk about this later in our other segment, you want to drive with your fingertips on the steering wheel, not gorilla gripping. Also, you're going to basically drive by the seat of your pants to feel what's going on with the car. So when you feel the car getting smooth, and you probably hear it squeal a little bit, you'll know the back end slide. You're going to give it a quarter turn and let that back end flip around. And once the car is oriented in this direction, you're going to drive away. When I say drive away, I mean drive away, just ease on the gas and pull away. What you don't want to do is get on the gas and spin tires, because you're not going nowhere, you're spinning tires, right? Depending on the power of your car. The idea is don't spin the tires, just get on the gas and ease out and accelerate away. So that's a forward 180. Now, a reverse 180. We drive up, same thing happens. We have the threshold brake. All right, we stop as quickly as we can. As soon as we stop, what we're going to do is throw the car in reverse. We're going to either look over our shoulders or we're going to use our rear view mirrors, whatever you're comfortable with. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on the gas. I'm going to bring the car to 25 miles an hour. 25 miles an hour. That's all you got to do, 25 miles an hour. And you can practice this without actually doing the turn. Just practice driving backwards at 25 miles an hour and get a feel for what it feels like. Once you got that down in practice, you can do it for real. So 25 miles an hour, I go backwards. Now what's going to happen? When I'm at speed, I'm going to do two things. One, I'm going to immediately come off the gas. As soon as I come off the gas, what happens is all that weight, inertia, is going to go to the back of the car. I'm going to weight the back springs on the car and unweight the front springs of the car. Okay, which means the front end is going to get light. So as soon as I come off the gas, a quarter turn, steer into the other lane. I'm going to steer into the other lane. And when I do that, because the back end is weighted and the front is light, what's going to happen is the car is just going to spin around like this into the other lane. I'm oriented in the right direction, and I'm going to get on the gas gently and drive away. So we'll talk more about that in another segment. We'll actually do a practical so you can actually see what it looks like. But understand the dynamics behind it. So you have a forward 180, you have a reverse 180. Sometimes you might find yourself, I've actually had to use that before. I've actually had to do that. I had guys chasing me one night. I won't go tell you why they were chasing me, but they were chasing me. And ran me into a cul-de-sac, and I know they had bad intentions, and So I didn't have room to turn around. All I had room to do was put the car back in reverse, back it up, do a reverse 180, and as they were coming in, I was going out, and I made my escape. So anyways, if you like this content and you want to learn more, again, ring the bell on the bottom.